Hi, I'm Ollie, product owner for Novation, and I'm going to show you the circuit editor. Now, this is an editor that we've made in partnership with Isotonic, and they have taken what we use as a development tool and turned it into something that you can use to create your own patches. The synthesizer is based on our Mini Nova synth engine. We've taken bits out so that we can fit essentially what is 2 Mini Novas and 4 drums and all the effects in the same box. So rather than having 5 or 6 LFOs and 5 or 6 envelopes, we stripped it down to 2 or 3 of each, but you still get that Mini Nova sound. But we've added macros, which give you a much more controllable and exciting way to play with the synth using only 8 knobs. So I can take you around the editor. We've got the synth engine control where you've got your oscillators, LFOs, mixer, envelope, filter, distortion, chorus, which can also be a phaser, EQ. We've got the voice controls where we can set portamento and polyphonic modes, and then the mod matrix where we can start to build our synth sound. And then on top of that, we've got the macro section, which is where all the magic happens, which converts your synth programming into a programmable 8-knob experience for your circuit. So the first thing you want to do is decide what we're going to do with the patch that we're going to make. So what I'm going to do is I've already initialized this patch. So I've pressed initialize current patch, and if I press this, just a store wave. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this session just by pressing save here. And that saw wave is now saved with that session, and every time I load up that session, we get the saw wave again. But what we're going to do is build a patch, and then every time we load the session, we'll get the new patch that we're building. So if we start by just choosing some waveforms, I'll just play this. And we've got all the standard analog style waveforms, and then some wavetables at the end. Here's the wavetables. We can use the pulse or the wavetable index. Scroll through them. So we've got a talky one. Make sure you put it down a few octaves. Up like that. Should get some vowely talky sounds going. So we use this as a basis. And we want control over this wavetable index so we can do the talky thing. So let's go into the mod matrix and choose oscillator 1 wavetable index. If I wiggle the depth, you can hear it moves through like that. So we're going to want this to move in real time, so we'll add an LFO to it. LFO 1, plus and minus, so it goes up and down. So we're just going to turn the rate down. And now we want to get it onto macro 1. So if you can see, I'm wiggling this, and the macro 1 bit's wiggling, and we can see it getting brighter and less bright. And we've already set the wobble up with the LFO and the index. So if we go to destination and choose mod matrix 1, and we wiggle this, and nothing happens because you need to turn the depth up like this. So that's working. Let's set up the rate. So now we can hear, if we turn up the rate here, obviously our talky bit gets faster and slower. Now the beauty of the macros is it isn't just one thing, it's 4 things at the same time. And this is if you listen to the sounds already on the circuit and wiggle knobs. In most cases, one knob doesn't just do one thing, it does 2 or 3 things over a range. So I'll just show you how we can get this single knob to turn on our talky wobble, and then as we turn the knob further, we can change the speed of that talky wobble at the same time. So we're going to macro 1 and destination. We've got a longer list in the destination. Little tip, if you can do it in the mod matrix first, do it in the mod matrix first. If it's not in the mod matrix, go to the macro list. And we've got LFO1 rate. Let's tell that. Tell the depth. Now what we want to do is separate those two things. So we've got start and end position. So the depth is going to start at 0 when my knob's turned down and finish at, let's just put it around 80. So as soon as this gets to 3/4 of the way around, the depth can't get any deeper. Now if we go to LFO rate, and we can start that one at 80, like this, and then we have the depth. Let's turn it down a tiny bit. Now, and let's turn this depth back down here. Now, so we start at 0 with nothing. Static sounds, wiggle this. Now we can hear the talkie moving, and get deeper and deeper and deeper. And then we get to the top of the knob, and then it gets faster. Turn it down again. So that's the basic of how macro works. I've only used 2 macros, you can use up to 4. You can have varying start and end positions and different depths and make really exciting sounds through that. So I'm going to use a second macro to show how you can go up and down on the same macro. And that's just quite interesting when you do things with the 2 oscillators interacting with each other. So first off, I'm just going to turn oscillator 2 up, and let's pitch it down an octave. I'll put a bit of detune. Now, macro 2, I'm going to play around with V-sync, which sounds like this. And we're going to make it go up and down, which gives you some really interesting sonic possibilities. So, back to the mod matrix. V-sync's in mod matrix, so I'll use it here. I'll put OSC1 V-sync on one, and OSC2 V-sync on the next one, and I'm just going to leave them with no depth because the depth comes from the macro. So destination 1 is slot 3, and destination 2 is slot 4. And if I wiggle these, let's turn the depth up. Macro 3. So again, we're using this range in the depth, so it's going to start at 0, go up to 30, and then nothing happens. And then with this one, we're going to start at 30 and go to 60-ish, put the depth up. There's 1, there's 2. Now we do the same thing and they can go down again. So mod matrix 3, it's going to go down a little bit and we'll start at 60-ish. Mod 4, mod matrix 4, and we're going to go down again. So I'm being a bit rough, but we can hear it. Now it sounds a bit silly as it is at the moment, but when you start to play stuff, let's put the drum in as well. Get a nice interesting movement there.